As the Finance Bill 2024 continues to be a subject of contention across the country, the government is likely to lose 200 billion if the bill does not see the light of day. The National Treasury has to this end written to the Clerk of the National Assembly proposing to cut 178 billion from the financial year 2024-2025 as rationalization in case the bill fails to sail through. The letter reads, and I quote, "If the National Assembly does not approve the revenue-raising measures contained in the Finance Bill 2024, there will be a likely revenue shortfall of approximately 200 billion. To remain within the provision of Section 40 and Section 50 of PFMA 2012 CAP, we propose the following measures: general expenditure cuts across the three arms of government." In his letter, CS Njuguna Ndung'u listed 45 offices contained in the executive, judiciary and parliament that will be affected by the cuts. In the list, the presidency will lose 451 million, State House another 500 million for all operations, while the Interior Ministry faces 2 billion cut on its security operations, and the defense counterpart to operate without 7.7 billion for security operations and modernization. Road projects currently ongoing will see a slashing of a whopping 15.1 billion. TVETs and TTIs will lose 800 million, while infrastructure for schools and school feeding programs 1.6 billion and 1.8 billion respectively. JSS teachers will get hit by 18.9 billion. Cash transfers of 5.5 billion will be lost, and Constituency Development 5, which is NGCDF, will lose 15 billion. Medical interns who recently negotiated for a package after months on the streets will lose part of their negotiated packs by 3.7 billion if the bill fails, as medical equipment services lose 1 billion and GAF will lose 1.5 billion. Other key losers in Professor Ndung'u's list are the last mile connectivity that will be forced to contend with 14.5 billion. Fertilizer subsidy will lose 5 billion, sugar reforms will get 2.7 billion, and street lighting 4.7 billion. The CS also noted that should the Finance Bill 2024 be approved as proposed, the National Assembly can proceed with considering the appropriations bill. It is a letter that has elicited debate in the National Assembly.
First and foremost is to call the CS to order. To order from your chair. He cannot be seen to be supervising this house. In other words, actually he's trying to put pressure on this house to act in a particular manner. Yes. The CS of National Treasury, who is not elected by anybody, as far as I'm concerned, is purporting to supervise this house in its legislative role. Something that flies in the face of the Constitution.
Something must give in. If we reduce taxes that are proposed to be the revenue-raising measures to finance the budget that we have adopted, then we must find a way of either reducing the expenditure side, because if you don't do so, what you will do is increase the fiscal deficit. It is this House, Honorable Speaker, and I was hoping the Honorable Njuguna Ndung'u had pointed to it, and I see he hadn't, that we passed a debt ceiling in this House.
Now, still on matters Finance Bill, let's take a look at the impact of protests on businesses across the country.
A few minutes before the demonstrations began in Nairobi, this was the situation along Moi Avenue. Most shops were open and ready to take through the day.
Kiangalia ya awali ni tofauti na kwa sasa. Kwa sasa kungekuwa kushajaa mawe, tungekuwa sasa tushafukuzwa, tungekuwa sasa tushakunywa tear gas.
In a count of seconds, tick-tock, the unexpected happened. The youthful protesters, popularly known as the Gen Z, forced them to shut down their shops. Most of them left peeping through their shop windows. For this mall, the shoppers and those selling could only witness the protest with a distant eye. Despite this disruption, some business owners have noted the peaceful nature of the demonstrations, attributing any potential disruption to police actions rather than protesters.
For this time, wacha tuandamane, tuko tu sawa. Wacha tu waandamane, watutetee sisi wenye. Sasa kama saa hii tuko kwa biashara, ningepata chance ya kuandamana hata mimi ningeandamana tu. Hasara wakati wa maandamano lazima. Hiyo ni kawaida. But hasara hiyo siku moja, lakini inasaidia siku ingine ni sawa.
With some business owners fronting for the protest, for some, they have a different view.
Kwanza hiyo siku hakuna kazi tulifanya. Hiyo siku ya Tuesday hakuna kazi tulifanya. Unaweza pata wateja kama 10-15 hivi, lakini kwa hiyo siku hakuna mteja tuipata.
Itatu affect sana na hata uchumi pia itaenda chini. So ni ile rais aweze kusikia wananchi.
Since the onset of the demos on Tuesday, over 3 billion Kenya shillings has been lost in Nairobi County, experienced through poor collection of parking fees and other services offered. Despite the protesters and those owning business within CBD having one voice to shoot down the Finance Bill 2024, it is still uncertain how long this will take as businesses continue to be on the edge. Milia Kisienya, K24 TV, Nairobi County.
Now, President William Ruto's visit to the USA a few weeks ago is beginning to bear fruits, with American investors now eyeing investment opportunities in the country. Now, in the affordable housing sector, Finsco Africa, in collaboration with Go Green Bank, based in Atlanta, is seeking investment partnerships in the country. Investments are also focused on hospitality and food security. Finsco Africa was part of the presidential delegation as the private sector representative of the real estate and property developers in Kenya through the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Today, the two have signed an MOU on investment with a delegation of U.S. investors in Kenya.
Republic of Kenya, knowing very well we have a 2 million housing deficit in the Republic of Kenya, but now we need to push how can we reduce this gap of the deficit? How can we enable more Kenyans to have homes in the Republic of Kenya? And in that, we were able to meet with our good partners who are also going to support us on a financial, or the financing of these customers, financing of the end user, together with the partnering with our banks. Today, we are happy to announce that we already have started a relationship and a negotiation with one bank that's represented here.
There's issues with the minority community across the globe that I believe that using Kenya as a gateway to Africa, we will be able to do the exact same things that we're doing in America, here in Africa, through Kenya.
All right, that's where we wrap it up here on K24 Evening Edition. But coming up is my colleague Chris Migombo as we anticipate the game tonight, which is Italy versus Spain here on K24. My name is Brian Amwai. Our sign language interpreter tonight has been Walter Asewe. Do have yourselves a lovely night, and let's do this again next time. Good night.